I don't know if I ever thought trying a 900 was a good idea. I had the initial thought the year after I did the first 720, which was in 1985. So in 1986, I found myself at this skate camp outside of Paris called Bourges. I had been spinning sevens pretty regularly by then, and I was like, I guess the next stage is 900, and I tried it on that ramp for the first time. But when the X Games happened, I had no plan of trying it there because it's a best trick event, and up to that point, my best trick was a varial 7. That's all I had planned. And then I did it like halfway into the event, and so I didn't know where to go from there. That was my best trick, and it was kind of like, I guess I'll try a 900 for the crowd. I think Dave Duncan was on the mic, and he threw it out there too, like, let's see one of those 900s. I started spotting the landing, which only happened maybe 1 out of 5 attempts in the past, and I was spotting my landing every time, and I was like, wow, if I'm ever going to try to make it again, I guess it would be here. I finally committed to one and fell forward just like I did when I got hurt, but I didn't get hurt. And I think that was the turning point, because it was like, oh, I made it out of that mistake. What can I do to fix that? And so the attempt after that, I shifted my weight more to the back foot as I was spinning, and that made me shoot out, and then that was it. That was the moment. I had the crowd behind me, I had my peers behind me. I was so fixated that it was either gonna happen or they were gonna take me away in an ambulance. And I still kind of couldn't believe I did it. Like, I was riding across the flat, and I looked over at the crowd, and all my peers were running onto the ramp. I was like, well, maybe it did happen. The big change that happened after I landed the 900 was recognition. And then suddenly people were stopping me at the airports like, dude, 900. Between that and then the sort of perfect storm that we were just about to release a video game, once the video game got released and those two things happened, like suddenly I was just thrust into the spotlight and getting recognized all over and getting a lot of opportunities too. I mean, I'm not complaining, like it changed my life. So after I did first 900 in 99, I did it pretty regularly through the Boom Boom Hucksham tours, through a lot of demos, sometimes best trick events. And it was always hard. It was always brutal getting to it. Like it took at least 5 or 6 heavy slams or attempts to get to. I never did it first try. So almost 10 years after I kind of stopped doing them in demos, I was skating again regularly, like way more than I had been, and I started doing a lot of exhibitions, and I started feeling loose. I don't know, I can't explain it, but I found the flow again. Like I found a rhythm, and I thought maybe I could utilize this to my advantage and start trying to spin again. I was doing a demo in Mexico City actually. I just thought, try a 9, why not? And I spun it and I got around. It fell hard enough that it deterred me from doing it again that night, but that planted the seed. But I just thought, I'm capable of doing this again. Let's do it. And the anniversary of the trick was coming up. And you guys have the panel from the ramp, right? The ramp surface that I did this on, we changed shortly after I made that and saved all the sheets. And so working with ABD, we cut up the sheets and put them in trading cards. So you can own a piece of the ramp that I did my last 900 on. And that's it. Like there's no other pieces of that ramp that exist that anyone else will get.